What up to the 3 people that's in here right now? I was waiting on me to come on here live. What's going on? Welcome to a live edition of Trucking with Loshawnparks. You could be anywhere, somewhere, but you're here with me. I do appreciate that. And today, as promised, that I was going to come and do a Q&A where you guys can ask questions on any video that I've put out in the last week. Bring your questions, or if you just got a question in general and you need an answer to it, today would be the day that you ask your question. What up, Smitty? I see you in the building. What up, Adam? I see you in here too. What's going on, Flying Hawaiian? Jay Butler. I'm gonna say, I don't know how to say your first name. So Jose. Trucker, I want to say, is it Micah B? I hope I said that right. What's happening? Nothing messy. Siren, what's going on with you? Trucking ridiculous. Money bag low. What up? What up? King the Trucker, always good to see you in here. Appreciate you being in here. Call me Cooley checking in. What's going on? Let's get a wave check low. Oh, what? Nah, I don't got no waves. I got braids. You mean the braid check? That's the braids. That's what I got going on right now. Low ain't got no waves, man. No Rico Suave shit. Daycab Slim, what's going on? What's up? I see you pull in EMHU containers from Norfolk Southern. How you get into that? Yeah, good question, M Ford. I basically got into pulling the rail yards through a company that's here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm not too keen. Let me adjust my camera real quick because I don't. Give me a second, y'all. I gotta adjust this. I feel like I'm all up close on it. All right. I got into it from an intermodal company that is based here in Charlotte. So, for lack of better words, yeah, that's how I got into it. It didn't, like, I can't say it just fell in my mind, I guess. Yeah, that's how I got into it. So yeah, I do intermodal for the rails out of Norfolk Southern and also CSX in Charlotte, North Carolina. Cornell, yes, you can, but would be best to get some experience before you jump into lease. Yes. All right, so listen, if you got any questions that you want me to answer, or you need an answer for, or you just want to know something, put asterisks in front of your question, put asterisks in front of it, and then make your statement, and then I'll read it, and I'll give you an answer for it. I got a lot of things that I do want to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about all that stuff today. It'll be in forthcoming videos in the future. Today I want to do Q&A for y'all because I said that I was going to do Q&A this week, and I'm still trying to adjust this camera, man. Because I just feel like I'm so fucking close, man. I just feel like I'm close to this damn thing. All right, so yeah, asterisks in front of it. Stephen Gray says, is $1,500 a week net for lease at Prime okay for a recent CDL grad? Yes, it's really good, actually. If you're doing about $1,500 after all your expenses and deductions and things like that at Prime, $1,500 for solo lease is pretty decent, pretty damn decent. I would say so, and you're a recent grad, so yeah, you're doing really well. No, I'm waiting on the trailer to come. That ain't it though. Look, my question up at top. Andrew, what? All right, let me see. One time for the Nipsey, I see the salute. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, trying to fill Nipsey shoes is a big shoe to fill. Where is he at? Low, how do you do a 1099 to a company for your fuel expense as an owner operator? How do you do a 1099 to a company for your fuel expense? I guess you meant to say as an owner operator. So are you paying for the fuel, or is the company paying for the fuel? Like, I'm a little confused on your question, because as a owner operator or as a contractor, then you write off your fuel as one of your expenses. So that's not something that you charge back to the carrier. Like, I'm just a little confused. That's not something that you charge back to the carrier. That's part of your expenses, unless the carrier is paying for the fuel, and if the carrier is paying for the fuel, then the carrier gets to write off the fuel, not you. So just a little confused on that. If you want to state a little bit more what you're talking about, then I would be glad to assist you on that, Andrew. What up, Lo? Do freight rates fall for mega such as Prime and Schneider during the winter months? Or maybe what I'm asking is, do rates fluctuate like spot market freight even though they're contracted? Yes, rates do still fall for contracted rates. What happens is when it's time for renegotiation, depends on how long the contract term is that locks them into that number. It could be 30 days, it could be 60 days, it could be 90 days, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. It just depends on how long their terms is with that contract will determine when the rates get renegotiated. So if it's every 30 days, then every 30 days they're renegotiating that rate. So it's similar to the spot market, except for whatever rate they lock in for the term of that contract will determine how long that they hold that rate for. But yes, once again, it just depends on the term of the contract, the length of the contract. I'm in hot shot. All right, let me go back up here. Let me go back up to the talk. I don't want to skip some people's questions that asked before yours. All right, so I read that question. How are you liking intermodal so far? Intermodal, as far as intermodal goes, it's okay. It's not the best, but you know, local isn't that good, which is going to be a video that a live feed that I'm going to talk about local and how local just ain't what it is. Okay, it ain't cracked up to be what it is. Local is a lot of hours, and then I'm also going to talk to you guys about a certain pay in local that I just think is just ridiculous. But that'll be coming up this week on a live feed. I'll be talking about that. But as far as intermodal goes, it's okay. All right, I'm scrolling back up. Give me 1 second. Let me see. All right, so I got Smitty's question. Smitty, I think you're the next question. Let me see. All right, so like I said, if you got a question, I'm looking for asterisks in front of your question. If it ain't an asterisk in front of your question, I'm not going to read it. So let me scroll back down. All right, yep. Thank you, moderators, for letting them know. Asterisks, thank you. When you were talking about company drivers to hire, was you talking about if you had your own DOT numbers or just in general? Because I think Prime would be good doing that starting off. All right, so when I was talking about with company drivers, you mean, Smitty, as far as paying them, I was talking about basically you having your own direct shipper. All right, without you having your direct shipper, it becomes hard for you to find a good pay for a driver to drive for you. All right, essentially. So if, matter of fact, I'm gonna use my other phone here because I don't want to skip comments, and I can see as soon as I read one comment, the comments jump all the way down to the bottom. So I'm going to use this phone to control my comments. But yes, what I was saying is basically off of you need to have a direct customer. Have a direct customer. It allows you to be able to pay your company driver a decent wage. As far as with Prime is already cutting you out of some of your money, right? So Prime already gets it at 100%. And this is why, like the Primes, the mega carriers, or people who have direct customers can have company drivers, because they're getting 100% of the bill. So when they're getting 100% of the bill, they can offer a very good pay to a company driver, opposed to you, who's leased onto a carrier, and they're already cutting, you know, X amount of percent out of it. That percentage that they're cutting out is essentially the money that you need in order to be profitable. Because let's just say, for instance, like I was saying earlier, if you're leased on to like Prime on the A-Fleet side and they're cutting out 23%, and then you got to turn around and still pay your company driver, or try to give your company driver a decent wage without them going to another carrier that can pay them 55 cents or 40 or 49 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just, it becomes hard for you to be able to compete with that because you're already getting cut, you know what I mean? And that you're already being cut, that affects your profit margins. All right, so having company drivers and you're already leased on to a carrier becomes more of a challenge, and it affects your profits. So I wouldn't have company drivers any longer unless I had the direct customer contract. Good question though. All right, next one. Okay, I answered that one. What up, Lo? Do freight rates fall? Okay, I answered that one. Thoughts on buying a truck with 1 million miles, but rebuilt around 800, 900,000 miles? Trevon, I hope I said that right. Trayon Thomas. If it's a rebuild and they have the paperwork to show that it's a rebuild, then I think it's a good buy. If they're telling you that it's a rebuild and they can't provide the rebuild certifications or paperwork to show that it was rebuilt, I wouldn't buy it. All right, because anybody could tell you that a motor has been rebuilt, sell it to you, and if you don't have proof that it's been rebuilt, then you just got sold a 1 million mile truck. So just make sure that you get the proper paperwork to show that it was a rebuild. And I think it could be a good buy, and it all depends on what the sale of the truck is for and what type of truck it is. Is it true companies are going out of business because of China deal? Martin, I don't know nothing about the China deal. As far as getting freight from China, it has slowed down production. As far as companies going out of business, in my opinion, I feel like when they lose a contract or they've been paying their drivers so well, and then when renegotiations come up to renegotiate the contract and the shipper might want to dial back a little bit, well, that's where they fall under the bus at, because now they got to keep up with the pay structure or the pay that they're giving to the drivers, and the contract just ain't paying like that anymore, or they've lost some contracts. So when that happens, essentially that messes with your profit, that messes with your business, and you have to go out of business because you can't keep up with the pay of employees, for lack of better words. I'm new to trucking. As a company driver, they got me sitting and not communicating well, among other things, but getting told that's just how it is when you knew no matter the company. Do you agree? I think that is based on what trucking company you're at, how much freight that trucking company has. If it's a mom and pop spot and they don't have that much freight, then that's pretty normal. If you're at a mega carrier such as Prime or whoever, and they have a lot of freight, you sitting around for a long period of time is really sitting around. When I say sitting around waiting for another load, is not that often. Okay, it's really, especially like Prime, it's really, really rare. If you're sitting around, you might need to contact dispatch. But I don't know what company you're at or what situation you're in, but most mega carriers, you're not sitting around for an extended period of time waiting on a load, especially as a company driver. So that could, I would say that is a company thing. That is a company's thing. I'm in hot shot, want to go big red flatbed. Any advice? If you're doing hot shot, if you already have like a gooseneck, then by you going flatbed, you'll already be kind of accustomed to how it works, because gooseneck, flatbed, pretty much the same work. So if that's something that you're considering, you'll be real comfortable in doing it. Have you heard about the UPS automated self-driving trucks? I haven't heard about the UPS automated self-driving truck. I haven't. Have I been hearing about automation trucks and seeing automation trucks? I have. Some people will ask me, am I for automation trucks? And as a business owner that's in the trucking space, am I for automated trucks? Yes, I would be. I mean, because what it does is it cuts down my cost of manual labor. And yeah, it's a business move, you know what I mean? And anybody that's in the trucking space that has a business, and they have multiple trucks, I think that they would be for automation, because it cuts down the driver. You don't have to worry about vacation time. You don't have to worry about paying a wage. Only thing you would pretty much have to worry about is the maintenance on the truck or the maintenance on the computer system. And then I guess insurance probably would go up because it's not a man or a human holding the truck. So you have more of a risk of it malfunctioning. But it's just a lot of things with a automated truck that you wouldn't have to worry about within human. But then once again, vice versa. You know what I mean? A lot of things with automation that will happen that you wouldn't have that same issue with a human in the truck. But what it does cut down on cost. And essentially that's what we're all trying to do in trucking, is cut down on our costs in order to be profitable in trucking as a business. Are you still hiring for your company, Lo? I will be hiring for my company. Once again, I only have lease operators. So basically I lease the truck to you, and I have those positions. I will have some coming available. I think I will have 3 trucks open in September. So if anybody is interested, you can shoot me an email, LoShawnparks@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you on that. Yeah. Or if you need further information on it. Let's see, 10-4, I appreciate the giblets, big bro. No problem, Messy Siren. Only the Lonely says, your cost per gallon of diesel is what you should earn per loaded mile to be successful. Do you agree? Your cost per gallon? Is that what you... I don't know if Only the Lonely you wrote that correctly, but you said your cost per gallon of diesel is what you should earn per loaded mile to be successful. Do you agree? I think that you should factor that in. At the same time, you probably want to factor in a couple of other things as far as the expense on the truck in a whole, and then figure out how much extra you need to be profitable. Because you're, of course, with your cost of operation or cost per mile, you're going to know what your break-even mark is for you to run. Whether you run your cost of operation per day, whether you run your cost of operation or cost per mile weekly, daily, monthly, quarterly, yearly, however you want to do it. But you need to know that number so that you're not undervaluing your time or your business. To me, like I spoke about yesterday, I don't see how you're able to value a load or know the value of a load or know the value of your business or time if you are doing cost per day opposed to cost per mile to take a load. I don't get it. To me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make business sense to have a cost per day or know your cost per day than to know your cost per mile. Because, for example, let's say that your cost per day, like I gave yesterday, is $200. But so all you need to do for your break even for the day is to make $200. So if you see the load that's paying $600 to go 400 miles, well, that load looks good to you because you can get it done in a day, more than likely, 400 miles. And on top of that, you made $400 profit, right? But what's the true value of the load? Like, you don't know the value of the load. You're just taking off of cost per day at 600. So if you had a cost of operation, $1.50 is your break-even mark, then you know that if I push for $2 to go 400 miles, the value I can get out of this load is 800. So essentially, you're not leaving money on the table. Okay, you're making more money. Even if you know that your cost per day is $200, it is still, to me, in my opinion, important to know your cost per mile of operation so that you do not undervalue the load. Because essentially, if I'm going 400 miles and I know that it's 100, let's just say, pull my calculator up here now, okay? Because I'm going to give you guys an example with a calculator. So I'll say that I know that my cost per day to break even is $1.50. I see this load pop up here going 400 miles. Now, for me to break even, I take $1.50 times 400. All right, so $600. So my break even to pull this load is $600. I need $600 for break even. So I didn't really make profit on this at all. What do I need to make profit on this? You know what I mean? So let's just say I want to sell this load for $200, $2, excuse me, $2 a mile and make 50 cents a mile profit off of this, past my break even mark. So then if I know in that, I do $2 times 400 miles, and I'm gonna ask 800 on the load. Okay, now I know some people are gonna look at it and say, well, why would you do it that way when you said that if your cost per day was $200, but if you took it for 6, you made $400 profit. But if you had it like this, you made an additional $200 that you didn't leave on the table, right? So opposed to you taking it for 600, you pulled it for 800, you only need $200 a day. But now by you knowing your cost per mile, you know the true value that you need out of that load in order to be profitable. See what I'm saying? To me, cost per day is a lazy man's way of doing business. It's an easy way to do it, all right? It's pretty simple. No, okay, I need this for home, I need this on fuel, and this is probably what it's gonna cost me in fuel to run this. Woody woo, this is what I need a day, all right? So, Apocalypse says cost per day works if you own the truck. And I can agree with him on that too, where cost per day only works if you own the truck. You know what I mean? Because you don't have no truck payment on there, then you can look at it like, how can you become profitable? But the thing that, to me, how I feel like when you do cost per day, essentially you kind of like can be undercutting the rates or the true value of the load. Even if, like, so for instance, Apocalypse, you probably can agree with me on this. Even if you say, fuck it, I ain't running nothing for less than $2 a mile. You know what I'm saying? Even if you say, I don't care, I could own the truck, but I got this number, I'm not running it for less than $200, for less than $2 a mile, all right, $2 a mile. Even with you having that number, now you can plug that in and say $2 times 400 miles, all right, I'll run it for 800, all right, I'll run it for 800. But if a person says, all right, all I need is $200 a day to run this load or to break even, and they take the load going 400 miles and the broker or whoever offers it for 600, well, you could have got more out of it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's guys will leave money on the table when they do cost per day opposed to creating a cost per mile that is going to cost you to run this load, period. So I don't like looking at it where it's like, all I need is $200 or $300 today. So whatever I see pop up here, that's $600, dollars or whatever, I can make me a little $300 profit on top of my break even. I think that you should still have a cost per mile that you run off of, period. Because companies do it, right? Companies do it, brokers do it, and they give you the load out. They factor in how much it costs them per mile to move this load. Companies factor in that's why as a company driver, they offer cent per mile. They don't offer pay per day. We'll pay you $200 a day and you just run wherever we tell you. Like, would any of y'all accept the job if I told you I would give you $200 a day and you just work how I tell you to work? Probably not, because at that point in time, you're not valuing your time. Excuse me, you're not valuing your time. So that's why with cent per mile, you can value your time. All right, so if I go X amount of miles, I get paid this, opposed to you pay me $300 a day and we call it even. Okay, well, I'll go ahead as the owner and get a load that's paying $1,200. All I gotta do is break you off $300. You see what I'm getting at? I know some people probably will say that I might be being dramatic, but I'm just trying to give an example. All right, it's not about being dramatic. It's about giving an example so that you understand. All right, let me see what other questions we got here. All right, let me go back to it. All right, so that was from Only the Lonely. Only Lonely, I hope I explained that so that you understood. All right, next person says, I got an offer to lease onto USA Truck. I was wondering whether to settle for running mileage and let them pay tolls, or do 65% and pick my own freight off their load board. All right, so in my opinion, I like, if you're gonna do a lease, I like leases that offer you percentage of the load. I'm not a fan of mileage contracts. I'm not a fan of flat rate contracts. I'm a fan of percentage of the load, okay? This way, it gives you more of the pie, gives you more of the money, opposed to you pull in the flat rate or you pull in a mileage contract, you're kind of like, you know what I mean? You're capped on how much you can make per mile on that. The only thing that you can do is run a whole lot of miles to make a whole lot of money. All right. And to me, that doesn't make sense, because at that point in time, you're chasing the miles opposed to chasing the money. When you're a percentage, you technically are chasing the money and not chasing the miles. Okay. You're trying to get the best amount of money for the least amount of miles on your truck, where opposed to when you're on a mileage contract or you're on a flat rate contract, you're chasing miles in order to get to the money. And I'm not a fan of that, because that just means that you put more wear and tear on your truck, and you put more wear and tear on your body because you're going further distance. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm a fan of percentage if you're going to lease. I wouldn't have it any other way other than leasing, other than percentage if I'm going to lease a truck. All right, next question. How do you stay fit in truck driving? Because I'm long haul and the working out is tough after a long day. Plus, which means, what the hell you calling me for? Plus, which means taking a shower every day, and that's 13 to 15 bucks every day. All right, so a way to stay fit, I really couldn't. I don't work out that much, okay? I don't. I don't walk around the truck. I don't get out and do the truck. I don't need to, because I have a thyroid issue, which kind of keeps me slim, all right? But because I have a hyperthyroid. But I guess if I didn't have it, how would I stay slim? I probably would watch what I eat, my intake. I would probably get outside the truck, walk around. You know, I'm starting to see a lot of truck drivers get memberships to these gyms that are in different cities, like Planet Fitness. So Planet Fitness has like a website, I guess, if you will, that will show all the different locations. So truck drivers are now starting to pull up to those places, work out, take a shower. Once they finish working out, go back out of their truck and get their 10-hour, or go to sleep, if you will, and then start driving from there. And most of these Planet Fitnesses or these gyms are in large parking lot areas where you can park your truck in. So I probably would look into something like that, where you can go in there, get yourself an hour workout in, take a shower, and then, you know, go back to your truck and get yourself a good 8-hour sleep or so. I hope that answered your question on that. All right, remember, if you got a question, put asterisks. No asterisks, no question answered, okay? Andrew says, is it hard to get a direct contract? Listen, as far as direct contracts go, is it hard to get one? No, it's not hard to get one. But there are a few things you need to have, okay? One is a pool. And I'm not talking about a pool that you swim in, okay? I'm talking about you need to have a trailer pool, okay? Meaning you need to have quite a few trailers that you can drop off at that shipper, that direct customer, so that they can load and basically sit out on the yard for you to connect to, or for you to have trucks come and connect to and move the freight pretty expeditiously. For the most part, a one truck operation trying to get a direct shipper, not saying that it can't be done, but it is a lot harder for them to try to lock down a contract than it is for a person who comes in that has a trailer pool of trailers that can offer to dump 20 trailers here, load them up, and they can either broker the load out to have trucks come, or they could be a carrier themselves like myself, get 20 trailers and have 20 trucks that's under my authority that goes in and out and moves the freight around. So you just have to pretty much get a trailer pool if you're trying to get in with like big shippers. Now, for like mom and pop places that maybe only ship, you know, 5 trailers or 5 shipments a week, you might be able to get in something with them on that, because that means that they only ship out once a day. So they could probably utilize you, because once a day they load up your trailer and you take it to where it needs to go, and then you come back the next day and load up. So if you are a one truck operation, probably look into those. As a one truck operation, probably trying to get into a big place is probably going to be really, really hard because you don't have the trailer pool, and this is where the mega carriers come in and will gobble it up, okay, and will underbid you on that too, right? Because as a single truck operation, you're trying to be really, really profitable with that one load that you're trying to get out of there. So you coming in and say, I need $3, I need $3.25 to move it. Well, the mega carrier come and dump 100 trailers there and say, we'll move it for $2, and you're out the picture. You're out the picture immediately. All right. So there you go. Trailer pool is the way to get in contracts. Which this is the reason why a lot of brokers they will invest in trailers. That's why you hear the term so much where people say the money ain't in the truck, the money is in the trailer, which they're right. Because if you get a pool of trailers, then you can market yourself to a shipper or a direct shipper to offer them to leave trailers on their yard for you to load, and then all you need to do is pretty much broker them out, or you either provide power only services to come and pick those trailers up, bring them back, or do whatever, or wherever they're going, and then you just get them the backhaul, or you have that driver get the backhaul back to bring the trailer so it can, stay in a rotation. I hope that was helpful. Which that is something that I'm going to be doing in 2020 when I have my authority, is I am going to be getting trailer pool, and that's how I'm going to be getting my direct customers, and I'm going to be providing the power only for my trailers, or I would bring on owner operators to pull my trailers, which they could be leased on the Parks Motor Group, and I have different customers. Next question. But that's a good question though. I'm actually going to do a video too in the future talking about that a little bit more, about the trailer pool to getting direct customers. They have 300 trucks, so not a mega company. Oh, so not a mega carrier, but not super small either. Thanks for the answer. Hey, yeah, 300, you're right. They're not a mega carrier or a big company. So what I would say is that they don't have a lot of, was that my trailer? Let me see. That looked like my container right there that I was waiting on. Oh, I don't even know if it is or not. If he drops right there, that is going to be my trailer. Which I think he probably about to drop it right there. They done already sealed it up. Okay, good deal. Yeah, that's going to be the trailer. All right. So, y'all want to see me do a little bit of work? I got to hook up to this when the yard dog, he drops this. I got to hook up to it, and then we'll continue on with our questions. But while he's doing that, I'll answer some more questions. But yes, if you're at a carrier that's like 300, then that 300 trucks is not it is considered a mega carrier or a fleet. It's just not as big as the Prime, the Schneider, the Swift, the Knights, the Warners. They're not as big as them, but 300 trucks is pretty big, okay, pretty big. If you're sitting around and waiting for freight, I would say that they don't have a lot of, I don't know what's going on with their contracts. You know what I mean? I would have to question their contracts, because that 300 trucks, you should have some pretty good contract freight. And then once again, it all depends if that carrier that you're working for has contract freight, or do they pull freight off of the spot market? Because if they're pulling freight off the spot market, that could be the reason why you are sitting so much. Okay. All right, let me see here. Yeah, that's my trailer right there. Has a company driver, I guess you meant to say as a company driver, can a company fire you for trying to get a contract from a shipper or receiver? Yes, they can fire you for that. Actually, a lot of companies will put in their paperwork in the contract that you sign when you sign on with them, especially if you are a lease operator or owner operator. For instance, leasing on with me, it is in the contract, okay? It is a non-compete clause. You cannot, if you leave me, you cannot go out and get a contract, basically go get your own authority and go get a contract with a shipper that I have a direct contract with for 3 years, okay? A lot of companies, do that, okay? Especially if they have direct customers. You can't go out and get a contract if they're a direct shipper and you're pulling freight for that company. You can't use that shipper or try to go and get a direct contract with that shipper if you pull for them and it's in the contract. If you go out and do that and they find out, they have proper grounds to come after you for a lawsuit, okay, for breach of the contract. So make sure you read your contracts. Like I said, most contracts, if you're leasing, or most contracts when you go to a company, they have that in their writing. If they don't have that in their writing, man, they're crazy. All right, y'all give me 1 second. I gotta pull up over here. I gotta hook up to this trailer. So y'all gonna see me pull over here. And listen, I know people gonna say, where your seatbelt at? I'm literally on the yard. All right, on the yard, and I'm going literally maybe 50 feet. That's why the camera's shaking. I'm gonna finish answering some more of y'all questions. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up on here. Oh. Dirt lot, man. That's what happens on the dirt lot. The luxury of a day cab. I can look out the back window. Y'all gonna feel a bang. Y'all might hear the bang. There it is. Bang. That means you're in there. Hey, y'all see that right there? Schneider. I heard somebody say that Schneider didn't have an intermodal division still. They do. They do. They still do. All right. All right, y'all hang in with me for a quick second. I gotta hook up the airlines. I'm gonna pull over here, and we'll finish our conversation. Oh yeah, I gotta get the paperwork. I guess y'all wanna go? Y'all wanna go see that? All right, I'll show y'all. Turn the camera on. Alright. Schneider Intermodal still in the building. Damn gloves in. Alright. Gotta hook up. Day cab shit. Local life. Glove on. There we go. Alright. Y'all know what this is, don't y'all? For the newbies that don't know, it's your electric line, okay? Electric line. Pop that in here. Ah, that's what it looked like. Sorry, my bad. I didn't know y'all couldn't see. Shit. Ah. Oh, caught catching a Charlie horse in here. All right, service line. All right, it's the blue one. Service line. I'm gonna hook up over here. And y'all gotta remember, I'm holding the camera and trying to do this with one hand. Ah, service line. See the next one? Emergency line. Told you, one hand Charlie here. Oh shit. One hand Charlie, boy. Shit ain't easy trying to do this with one hand. Oh, come on. Oh, man. Damn it. All right, I'm gonna put y'all down for a second. I gotta use two hands to get this up. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, on there. Raggedy ass goddamn chassis, man. It's the chassis world. All right, y'all see this? So, on the chassis, you gotta make sure that this pin is pushed forward and that this right here locks into it so that it don't go nowhere, because you don't want this right here coming forward. So what you end up doing, you put a zip tie around this to keep this from going anywhere. But this looks like it's not malfunctioning, right? To be that chassis shit, man. Oh shit, damn near dropped the camera. All right, put up the landing gear. No. You know what, this mother, oh, he did that. Okay, so now I gotta put it in low gear to wind it down. Yep, the low gear shit, man. For the newbies, man, when a yard truck do shit like this, you hate it. But it really ain't his fault. Sometimes it be their fault. Sometimes it be the drivers. You should leave a little gap down here at the foot, about an inch off the ground before you drop your trailer. So then the next driver, it's easier for the next driver to get up under there without having to put it in low gear to lower it. You can hear the air seeping because it's getting lower. But this shit is a pain in the ass. For all my people out there, and they know what I'm talking about. Put this damn thing in low gear to bring it down. And what makes it even more harder is I'm holding the camera at the same time I'm doing this. So you watching skills at its finest. Real live work here. Oh man. Hear the air seeping? Because the weight coming down on the fifth wheel. Man, this thing will take forever. See, I bet you I can't even do it yet. Nope. It's crazy. Man. Damn thing ain't worth a damn. Hey, Adam, I'm trying to make it happen. Shit. And it's hot out here too? The worst part of the job. Worst part of the job right here. Take forever in the slow crank mode for you to make it happen. I mean, it seemed like it's turning fast, right? But that shit moving slow as hell. Always does. Now once we feel it getting a little bit more looser, then we can push this in some, see if it'll. All right, there we go. All right, now we got it in fast motion. You can see it going up. Carve me a river dog, you know what I do. I know, but even as a flatbedder, you still got, especially with prime, flatbed got dropping hook too. So everybody deals with this in trucking. It's lifting up the damn landing gear. Sucks ass. All right, so then we look over this trailer. Oh man, I'm tired as hell now. Now I gotta slide tandems here. Some of y'all still got these trailers like this. When you go to prime, you ain't got to worry about this. When you work in a modal, and some of these ragged ass, especially if you're pulling chassis, or you got old trailers that spring, it's what you gotta do. Oh man. And they say local is easy, huh? And they say local is easy. That shit pinned up against it. All right, so whenever it's hard for you to pull this handle, it's because your pin right here is pinned up against this. So what you do is you hop in the truck, and with it pushed up this way, that means I need to come forward just a little bit so it can get off of this. All right, I'll go hop back to my ass in the truck. They say local is easy. Shit. This shit motherfucking a lot of work, bro. A lot of work. Shit ain't easy. Oh my God. Whew. Camera angle ain't right now. Work. Alright. So I need to get it off the pin just slightly. Alright, that's probably good enough. So it's off the pin. Alright. Y'all talk amongst yourself real quick. I'll be back to finish up this Q&A session. Alright, be right back. Moderators, hold it down for me real quick. Answer some questions. I'll be right back. Oh, God. Oh, we done lost some people, huh? They wasn't interested no more. I feel you. Oh, there go my pins. I just heard them crack. Slide that back. Come on, motherfucker. There you go. Get up, Jody. Get up, Jody. All right, so with these air springs, also, when you slide them back, you gotta hop your ass, go and push the bar back in. For those that use air, they don't have to do that. They can just push in their tractor brake and it pops them out. When you got spring loaded, you gotta take your monkey ass back out here and go and push the rod back in, then hop back in and make sure it's locked in, and then you're good to go. Be right back. That be it for that. Rock this joint back one time. Locked in. Bam, bam. There it is. When you know you locked in, you're good to go. You ready to ride. All right, we're going to pull up over here real quick. I'll finish your question. By the way, I got the paperwork too. So that's why it might have took a little bit longer than what y'all expected. All right. I'm over here at Goodyear in Vietnam. For those that know about Vietnam, they know what I'm talking about when I say I'm over here in Vietnam, okay? I'm over here by a good old Airborne. Army base. Can anybody guess where Vietnam is? Can anybody tell me where that good old airborne Army base is in Vietnam? Anybody? Somebody. Tell me where I'm at. Somebody said it right there, Fayetteville. Yep, I'm in Fayetteville at Goodyear. At Goodyear Tire. A low container, or intermodal if you will. Don't want to say container too much. You say container a whole lot, people start thinking that you drive for the port. And you don't. And you don't. I am in Fayetteville, North Carolina. See, somebody said Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas has a Fayetteville as well. But nah, I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina, near Fort Bragg, home of the paratroopers, airborne rangers. Bull. Fort Bragg, home of the airborne. Airborne Ranger. Alright, hold on, let me pull up over here real quick so I could finish answering some of y'all questions. And then take my 30-minute break again. And then be back on my way to the good old city of Charlotte. Alright, there it is. Oh shit. Alright. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Hey, y'all got to do a ride along with Lo at work. Hope y'all enjoyed. Hope y'all enjoyed. Alright, let me get back to y'all questions. Alright, where did we leave off at? Let me see. Let me go back up. Okay, I'm a company driver. Okay. Got some more information there. Mr. Smith, are you still in here? I'm going to answer that question. I don't think that was the last question, though. Okay, so the last question I answered was Andrew Weston. He says, or Weston, he says, as a company driver, can a company fire me? Alright, so we already talked about that, about how they can terminate you. Well, not necessarily that they would try to terminate you, but they can if you try to infiltrate on the contract. But for lack of better words, they will they'll sue you if you try to interfere with that. All right, let's see here. Next question comes from Melson with Trucking. All right. If I apply for an LLC, do I have to use it within a certain time? I might buy a truck in a couple years, but I want my LLC now. No, the only thing is that you have to, when you establish an LLC, you have to make sure that it's registered every year. You have to comply with your state every year. Make sure that if you have any earnings, that you have to report that to your state, that your LLC did accumulate. And yeah, pay taxes on it. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense to have an LLC until you're ready to do business. If you're not ready to do business, then don't get yourself an LLC, because it's no point. Okay, it's no point. No point in you paying the fees and doing all that stuff if you're not ready to conduct business. So when you're ready to conduct business, you can get yourself an LLC. It takes a couple of days, but that's state specific. It could take a couple of weeks, depending on what state it is. But there's no need for you to have it just to have your LLC sitting dormant. It doesn't make any sense for that. Ho got the noodle arms. You right, Adam. I did, man. When it come to them springs, shit, man, that shit hard work. I'm at a company that pays 75% and want to hire a 1099 driver. Should I pay 25% of net of the truck, or pay 30% and he'll pay for fuel? It will be my first hire and don't want to F anyone over. All right, so See, this is one of the problems that I was talking about. You say you're at a company that pays 75%, right? And you want to hire a 1099 driver. So that to me must mean that you're saying that you want to hire. When people start speaking about 1099 to me, I'm hoping that they're talking about the 1099 a legit way. I'm hoping they're not talking about just getting a person, putting them on 1099, and that person doesn't have a EIN number, doesn't have a business at all, a LLC, or have a business bank account. All right. So when I speak about 1099 contractors, I'm talking about the legit way, not the bullshit way. And I wouldn't advise anybody to hire a 1099 worker and not have them legit. Like I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. I think it's bad business. All right, it's just bad business because you're basically, they're a company driver, but you're putting the tax burden on them, and that's bullshit. Okay, bullshit. So, with you getting 75%, now this is where the hard part comes in, right? This is what I ran into with having company drivers. I'm not getting 100% of the bill, right, from the shipper. I'm only getting a portion of it that comes in. So now, I looked at it too in a percentage way, right? I try to look at it and say, I'm going to pay the contractor 27%, like you said, or like 30%. And what I come to find out is it don't pay enough for a person to be a contractor. It don't pay them enough to be one. You know what I mean? Because as a contractor, essentially they are responsible for all the expenses, even down to fuel. Like I don't like those contracts that people make where they say, I'll take on the fuel and you take on all the other expenses. I don't like it because fuel, one, being one of the contractor's biggest expense that they get to write off to help out with the tax burden. I don't like that. So I just funnel all that stuff down to the contractor. So what I would do is, if I were you, knowing that you're getting 75%, maybe you take 10% and you tell that person they're getting 65%. All right. Now, what could happen by you taking the 10% is, to me, it's enough money. So I don't know if you're putting a team in there or a solo driver, but if you take 10%, let's say they revenue $5,000, all right, to the truck, you make $500, and then the rest is down to them, right? So $4,500, and it depends if they're getting the truck through you, then you could take the lease payment or whatever out of their settlement. So then that's something that they don't have to worry about, let alone not only them worry about, but you worry about. This is the reason why I don't allow my drivers to make the lease payment for my trucks. One, because the lease is not in their name. Okay, the lease is under my business name. And two, you're leasing the truck, so I'm not going to rely that you're going to do the right thing and pay your truck payment on time if I put the truck payment money into your settlement. Because granted, people can give you their word all day long, but when people get tight on money, and it does happen for the best of us and everybody, get tight on money, people tend to put things on the back end, right? And then next thing you know, I'll look up because I trusted you to make the truck payment, and you're a month behind on truck payments. Now they're about to repossess the truck. It goes into default mode. I got to catch the truck back up. It doesn't work. So it's best that if you're going to lease trucks out to people, that you take that money out of their settlement up front so that you don't never have to worry about that truck going into default mode by you relying on that driver to make the payment on the truck. All right. A lot of people don't understand this, and they feel like you shouldn't lease from the hand that feeds you, which I actually heard that from Truckers Coach. And I agree with him on a lot of things, but on that one, it's kind of like we agree to disagree, because I don't agree with that. If you're going to lease, if I'm leasing you the truck, then yeah, I need to be the one to make sure that you don't put this into default, because then essentially it messes my name up, messes my status up with the place that I'm getting trucks from, and you can just walk away from it and leave me stuck like Chuck. Right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take it up front out of your settlement, and guess what? None of us have to worry about it, because then I'll make it for you, and you won't have to worry about a truck payment or you losing your truck or none of that, right? You still get to work. So, but back to your question, I know I got side tangled here. I probably, if I were you, would 10% is a good number. Like really, it really is. So if you tell them that they're getting a true 65%, okay, before their deductions, then I mean, I think that that's fair. All right, you could even take it down to, if you don't want to take that much, maybe 5 to 7%. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what number is profitable for your company in order for you to do it. All right. And I know as much as people say that they're for the driver, but at the end of the day, if you're for the driver too much and you're not concerned with your business and making sure that your business is profitable, then you're going to go under. And guess what happens when you go under? Those drivers are going to go to another company. They're going to keep working. Because let me tell you something. Drivers ain't never going to give you no money back. They ain't going to never give you no money. You go out of business, I ain't seen yet where one driver or any of the drivers have said, no, we like you so much, you traded us so well that we're going to give you some of the money back that you gave us. That shit ain't going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen, okay? They going to take off, all right? They're going to go find another job, and your business is going to be out of business because, well, you were too concerned about the driver and not concerned about your business to the point to where the drivers got all the money and your business is out of business. And they ain't giving you none of that money back either. They're gonna look at you like, we appreciate working for you. You did us great. We appreciate it. But deuces. All right. So always in business, because business is a dog-eat-dog game. It is, man. But in business, you have to look out for self. In the day, you have to look out for self. Make sure that your profits are there first, and then where you see where you have enough to give maybe back more, then you can do that. But first, the business has to be stable enough to be able to do that. All right, so let's see. Next question. I hope that made sense to you. Let's see. Next question. Man, did this thing cost per day works if you... Okay, that was the one Apocalypse, so I'm way past that. All right, let me see. I'm catching up. Did I read this one? What is your thoughts on expedited freight versus doing freight with a solid mega carrier? Also, which one you think is going to be plentiful resource to use in the future? I think that expedited freight is always going to be available, always going to be around. Teams are always going to be always going to be wanted and needed because they need freight to be expedited. Granted that the ELDs are coming down into these trucks where in December everybody has to have the proper ELD, but shippers are still going to want to move their freight expeditiously. They're still going to want to move the freight the same way that they've been moving it for years. So with that being said, the only people that can move it in a timely manner, in the same timely manner and fashion, is going to be teams. So teams are still always going to be wanted. And do I think it's a growing thing? I think it will definitely be a growing thing come December. I think teams will be supremely needed and wanted. And you'll probably see another spike from all these mega carriers talking about how they are paying extra for that, for teams. All right, let's see. A couple more questions, and I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up. All right, some more asterisks. Let's see. Any more asterisks? I'm looking for asterisks. So if you ask me a question and it didn't have no asterisks in front of it, are you a... What is a leg, Andrew? What is a leg? I don't know what that is. See, you put asterisks in front of it, so I read it. I don't know what that is. You gotta speak English to me, man. All like the little side stuff and all that, I don't know what none of that shit means, man. I am English major. Okay, you gotta talk to me in English, man, with proper sense. What company and criteria does the company require where you lease your trucks from? Where I lease my trucks from, they don't require anything other than for you to bring money. But the problem with the place where I lease my trucks from is now they have a waiting list, okay? And I can't guarantee you, I don't put the name out there because it ain't no guarantee to it, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't no promise that you're gonna get a truck from that place, okay? And they already got a waiting list, and yeah. I don't want people to put my name down as no damn reference. I don't my close people that know me, that personally have my phone number, cool. They can call me and get, and I'll, you know, reference them. But people on the internet, nah, don't put me down. I ain't referencing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nah, because when you default on your shit, they ain't coming back to me and be like, yo, why'd you send him here? Woody. Nah, I don't know none of that. Like, none of that. So not to sound crazy or nothing like that, end of the day is business. You know what I'm saying? And I have to protect my business because I don't want to lose out on the business relationship that we have because I sent a person who ain't worth shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they said that LoShawn sent me. No, LoShawn ain't sent you. And if I sent you, I know who you are personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so that's why I don't share that information out. Shake World, what's going on? She says, why don't you brokerage get bonded? I am in 2020. That's what I was talking about earlier in this video. 2020 is gonna be a huge year for me. Authority, brokerage, all that good stuff. So that is definitely coming in the works for 2020. Direct shippers, all that. Trailer pool, all that. Which power only company would you prefer, Prime or JB Hunt? I looked into JB Hunt. I would prefer Prime because Prime is percentage. JB Hunt is a mileage contract. All right, so they pay you X amount of dollars, like $1.56, I think, or $1.57, or $1.60. Don't quote me. I don't know what it was. Last time I checked, they're a mileage contract. I don't like mileage contract. I like percentage contracts. More money. You chasing the money, you ain't chasing the miles. On mileage contracts, you chasing the miles to get to money. It don't work for me. How long were you doing OTR at Prime? I was at Prime for 4.5 years before I moved on. Low leg is airborne thing. Oh, I wasn't airborne. my bad, Andrew. No one, yeah, you wasn't speaking English to me anyway. I wasn't airborne. When I was in the military, I was support. All right, I did basic training in Fort Jackson, did AIT in Fort Lee, and my duty station was Fort Polk, Louisiana. All right, I was part of 42nd ACR. I was support. I was a 77 Foxtrot, which I believe now they changed it to a 92 Alpha. That is a petroleum supply specialist. I was an aviation fueler. All right, I filled up the birds. All right, basically the little birds, the Black Hawks, Apaches. That's what I was an aviation fueler. All right, so yeah, when you said that terminology, I was like, all I know is, you know, when we did PT, the cadence about the Airborne Ranger, you know, I know about that. But yeah, I definitely, not me. I wasn't brave enough to do airborne, man. I wasn't about to jump out of no goddamn planes. I wasn't about to be the first in line. I wasn't gonna be kicking in doors and hearing the strays and bullets. Nah, I'm support. I'm all the way in the rear. All right. Let me tell you something. If they got to us, we looked at it like this. If they got to us, America was defeated. Okay. If they made it to support, all right, and they got through the infantry, they got through all of everybody else. We back here in the rear. If they made it to us, we getting our ass kicked. Okay, so in this war we lose. Okay, because we down to us. We just support. Now, granted, we are combat trained. Okay, we are still soldiers. We are, we still fire the M16. But damn it, if they got past infantry, who are the sharpshooters, the snipers, and all that shit, and they made it to us, we in trouble. Okay, we in trouble. We support. We back here with the cooks, the mess hall, the administration people. We back here in the rear. Okay, or if not, we had a detail where we was somewhere far from where the action was going on, and the Apaches or the little birds or the Black Hawks would come far to come and get refueled from us. We wasn't up there in the shits. We wasn't up there in the front line fueling. No, we're somewhere far from the action. Okay. If they made it to us, we was in trouble. That's a fact. That's what Lo did in the military, okay? So I just wanted to put my service out there. Hey, listen, I was support, okay? And I was proud to be support, okay? I thought, listen, you couldn't tell me shit, all right? Driving around in the Hemet, okay? With the fuel in the back, okay? That's what we was doing, right? Oh, we fill up the Humvees too. We would do Humvees if the Humvees would come to us, we would fill them up as well. So we had diesel and we had aircraft fuel. Yeah, that's what Lo did. Let's see. Would you say intermodal is a great thing to get into nowadays? I'm trying to become more profitable and expand it as a business. I would say intermodal is cool if you like local, right? It's cool if you local. But intermodal, man, is long hours, man. Like I said, later on this week, I'm gonna talk about my local experience. This shit is long hours, like literally 12 to 14 hours a day. You know what I mean? 5 days a week type of shit. Like 60 plus hours of working. And I'm gonna tell my experience on being local, like I'm physically home, but mentally I'm not there. You know, mentally I'm drained, I'm beat up, I'm tired, working 12, 14 hour days, pulling containers, especially a lot of these shits, they be heavy as hell. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just, it's draining as hell. But if you're local, if you're looking for a local gig, look into an intermodal. And you'll be local, physically, mentally, your ass gonna be tired as hell, all right? Look out for that video coming later on this week. I do a live talking about my experience as local versus OTR. Hello. All right, let's see, anything else? All right, what's the pay like in local compared to OTR? Final question I'm gonna answer, the pay compared in local compared to OTR. I think that if you are trying to get to the money, all right, and your focal point is money, local is not gonna be where it's at. All right. If being home every day, being off, or being around the city or the town every day is more your focal point, or being around a woman or your children, and money is not an issue, but time is, then local is going to be what is going to be good for you, right? Because local money is not, it's not all that great. You know what I'm saying? After taxes, after $1,000 a week, that's pretty much what the local is, okay? But like I said, once again, it's long hours, right? If you're not prepared to work 12 to 14 hours a day locally, you're not gonna like it, okay? Long shifts, a lot of work, a lot of hands-on shit. That's what local is about, man. Like local hard shit, dog. Like for real. If you used to OTR being lazy, backing in the docks, going back in the sleeper and chilling, that is not gonna happen here, okay? That shit is not gonna happen here, and you are going to take a pay cut. Especially if you used to OTR money, it's gonna be a pay cut, period. Gotta work 6 days to make money. That's right, you gotta work 6 days to make money. And we ain't even gonna talk about, we're gonna, listen, on sometime this week, I'm gonna talk about this. Make sure you have your notification set. It's going, the title video is gonna be my experience local versus OTR. Let me tell you something. I've never heard of straight pay or straight time until I went local. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all ain't gonna know what I'm talking about, but y'all know what I'm talking about when I do that video. Straight pay, i.e. no overtime, all right? None of that shit. All right? Straight hours, all right? So if you make X amount of dollars per hour and you work 60 hours, 65 hours, X amount of dollars per hour times 65. It's called straight pay. It is bullshit, all right? Bullshit. But I'll get into all that stuff later on this week. Listen, man, I gotta get ready to skedaddle, man. I gotta get this load back to Charlotte. I appreciate you guys for rocking out with me today for 74 minutes. 112 people in here right now. All of y'all hit the thumbs up on the way out the door. 47 likes right now. Can I get a little bit more like love, please? One time. Can I get a little bit more like love? You know what I'm saying? If I don't start getting some like love, I'm gonna stop doing videos. Nah, I probably ain't, man. I'm an educator. I like educating you guys on things. Even though at times, people's comments in the comment section make me want to stop doing YouTube, I just think about if I had an audience of 50 people and only 2 people didn't like it, that means 48 other people took something away from it. And those 2 people that didn't like it, oh, they can kiss my whole asshole. They can kiss my whole asshole, bruh. Pause. All right. But what I'm trying to say is, just because 2 people don't like it ain't gonna stop me from educating the other 48 that want to hear it. All right. So to all the people that don't like me, that thumb it down, that hate LoShawn, I am officially here to piss you off if you don't like it. That's why how am I gonna piss you off? I'm gonna keep doing what I do. Alright? And I'm gonna keep being blessed and doing what I do and have fun at it. And smiling. Listen, remember, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So just smile, because it's so much easier to do. Yeah, I fuck with y'all the long way, man. Look, y'all be safe, don't do nothing I wouldn't do. Like, be unsafe as always. Winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners, and we winning all day right here trucking with Loshawnparks. If you got a comment, get in the comment section. If you're a lease operator and you're not sure if you are in a good lease and you have the contract, shoot it to me. Loshawnparks@gmail.com. I'll take a look at it and let you know it's good or it's bad. All right. So if you're trying to get into a lease and you want to know if it's good or bad, shoot me an email of your contract and I'll let you know. All right. Also, if you are interested in driving for Parks Motor Group, leasing a truck through Parks Motor Group, we will have 3 trucks come available in September. People, less than 30 days away. We're putting people down on a list. We're creating a waiting list. If you want to be part of that list, shoot me an email, LoShawnparks@gmail.com. Let me know that you want to lease a truck. I'll send you over what the deductions is going to be. We already got it on the sheet, fixed costs, all that stuff, so then you can know and determine if it's something for you or not. But if you are trying to get down with us, shoot me an email, LoShawnparks@gmail.com. Give me your name, give me your number. You need to have 2 years of driving experience, all right? CDL Class A. I'm out. Salute.